What's shaking YouTube? Friday New York live session. Let's get this week over and done with. Not much going on today. Not a hugely momentous day here. We're trading in an inside bar day so far here on the Bitcoin. We do got some news coming out. In 45 minutes, I guess. Happy Friday, JD. Good to see you, brother. Let me just make sure that is what I am thinking it is, but I'm pretty sure it's at 2:45. We got some news coming out here, so we might see a little bit of a we got PMI coming out, flash manufacturing at 2:45 GMT time zone, 45 minutes. A little bit of news coming out here. Might get a little on the wiki side here. I don't think it'll push Bitcoin too much, but you never really know. Definitely the NASDAQ and the ES and the indexes will respond to that with a little bit of wick, a little bit of volatility, but that's about it. Next week is going to be the big week. Next week we've got some massive news coming out, including fund rates. So we'll be talking about that a lot in the Discord channel. Folks, if you like what you see, join the Discord. We've got a pretty relaxed community, very helpful bunch. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but we take you seriously. All right. So what do we have going on here so far? Again, we're just trading still above previous day's close, which is always great. Also known as your daily open. But we haven't really done much. You can see our previous day's high all the way up here. We got a nice selling tail here. I've got that marked as single prints. My bad. They are single prints, but whatever. And we've got our previous day's low down here, which is a poor low. So let me make sure I'm not talking on my butt here. Yeah, I am. Look at that. It's a buying tail as well, but it's only five blocks. So, not overly impressive down here. If we do go down, expect a sweep of that. If we come up to here, I would expect this to get some sort of reaction. And then if we print another selling tail off of this high, I'll be looking to get into a short and see if we can push this down a little bit further here. All right, so that's really where we're at right now. London has swept the Asia highs, so potential stop hunt is done, and then London can't get below its opening range here. It did a quick over at the beginning of the session here, and now it's just held as support ever since. All right. The Asia opening range too is pretty interesting today. You can see it definitely held. Looks like we were going down a little bit there, but nope. Asia has now put in its high and its low, has been swept. Now we wait to see what good old New York is going to bring in 27 minutes. So let's check out our opening, our pre-market range. All right, we'll start mapping that out in a little bit. Still got a good 27 minutes here. But we can talk about yesterday's. It's pretty interesting stuff, I find, anyways. Not too many people like really marking this stuff out, but I find it very helpful myself. All right, so here is the high. Let me just get that looking a little bit better with some contrast there. So there's our pre-market range, all right, from 2 to 230 there, and then obviously our New York open here. And you can see just how well these ranges really do work. Ripped up, came back down right into that. And also the New York opening range was here as well, which got swept. But very, very decent. Right, so if you don't put this stuff out on your chart, I understand, maybe you're not looking to day trade this, and that's fine. If you're looking for swings, it can sometimes give you a little bit of confluence. But if you're looking for day trades, this is a fantastic thing to mark out on your chart. All right. So it's that half hour before the New York Open. Usually will guide you some way or form. So the other thing that's quite interesting right now is that we really do have this potential to put in a Friday inside bar, which is always a great thing for Monday, right? So if we can put in that close with an inside bar today, that means that we'll probably get a big move on Monday. Good news. Very good news. So that'll be interesting. Closing range for the week, inside bar, always exciting. Yesterday we did sweep both previous day's highs and lows, all right, which is not overly common, but you can see that this wicked above this high. Where was it? Right there. That was our previous day's high there, Wednesday's high, sorry. So we took out Wednesday's low and then came up and took the high out. So it's cleared the board now. And again, we just start compressing and putting in this, this sort of coiling action here. So let's see what Friday brings. All right. As far as the NASDAQ is concerned, we've got quite the moves up. Right, and again today we've already taken the previous day's high. Very nice trade off of that if you were trading the Asia session. Unfortunately, I'm in bed at that time, but great opportunity there. Sweep the high, put in a cute little Batman M formation, break that 20 EMA. It's pretty decent there. And if you're looking for the universal entry criteria, it's a little bit later in the game there, but it worked out real well. All right, so there you go. Once again, 5-minute chart, universal entry criteria for the 20 EMA, close below it, hop on in. That is a pretty massive move there for Asia, 54 points, very nice. The old London setup did not really play out today. It did kind of present itself, but it was a bit weird. All right, so we had dumped down, left a fair value gap here, and then right off the London Open, you get this this pretty wacky doji candle. All right, so not quite a doji, but it's pretty darn close. A lot of indecision. So it was not something that I took. All right, I stayed away from that. Yeah, didn't look too great, but I was really hoping for it to give something nice there. We did have the Asia low put in quite late in the Asia session, so we were putting in a bit of a downward trend here. Oops, I did not want to move that. No, there you go. So it would have been really nice to see a nice reaction candle. And this was the golden pocket here, but it didn't really react. So too bad for that. Let's see where these guys are going to take us today. Now, I imagine we do get a pretty decent move here on the NASDAQ today. Again, we've already taken out the previous day's high. We have a huge range that we can come down here. You know, a good 150 points or so still that we could come back down. So wouldn't be surprised if we get a big move down or if we get a big move up, really. Either way could work. Again, we had an inside bar yesterday, so also helps with that narrative of a big move. So let's see how that goes. I had a question yesterday in the Discord about the opening ranges. So I will talk about those slightly. All right, people get a little bit sort of, I don't want to say confused, but maybe they don't understand really how I use these. So they do work as support and resistance, and really the opening range is just the first on, oh, I did that again, wow. On the 1 minute chart, All right, you're going to take the open. In this case, we had an up candle for the open. All right, Asia open, you have an up candle, and then you have a pivot candle. All right, so it's the first pivot candle that happens, and then you're going to take from the open to the first pivot candle, the high and the low. So in this case, it's just the 1101 candle here, the 2301 candle, because it takes the high and the low of the previous. All right, so that's really it. And then it can show you, you know, sort of what's going on here, but you have to use it with Confluence. I wouldn't really use them as fantastic sort of entry criteria, all right, but you can use it with other entry criteria and get in on them. So what I then look for is I use it to kind of understand the movement more than anything else. I don't necessarily look for them to take entries off of, all right? So let's say in this example here, we've put in a high, price comes up, sweeps the high, and then you get a very nice bearish engulfing candle. And London's already taken out the Asia highs, right? So the stop hunt is done. You get a real nice engulfing candle here. If you want to take a shot at that, right, you're just make sure you're going to be able to make out with enough points here. Sorry, with enough percentage to the Asia high, right? Make sure that's worth your while. And then if you're convinced that we're going to go a lot further for some reason, then by all means, you don't have to pay too much attention to the Asia high in terms of a profit taking. Hey, Builder Bob, you too, man. Have a great weekend, brother. Good to see you. So as price comes down and hits that Asia high level, it's really kind of the way I also use the opening ranges. I'm just looking for these factors of where price gets sticky, right? So I know that price is going to probably have a reaction off the Asia high. In this case, it doesn't, comes back up. The Asia high, well, closes above it, but then it gets right back in. And then as it starts to move down, you know you're going to find some support here, right? So it doesn't mean it's going to hold, but as I'm watching my trade, I'm expecting reaction here, right? So I wouldn't be getting kind of stressed out about it turning back around. Well, you just know that these are kind of the sticky points. Now it breaks below. Let's see where the Asia, third time's a charm. See where the New York opening range is, and it's going to be the same thing, all right? And then as price comes down, if it does come down here, you know, hey, we're gonna hit the Friday's close. We're gonna hit the Asia opening range. You know, these are all points that you're going to see some sort of reaction off of, right? So if you're watching momentum indicators, and that is going to help you out as well, right? But it really is just sort of a reference point of how things are getting stickier. Now, let's say, for example, in today's price action, we pop up a golden pocket here from the high. All right, and it happens to be right at the daily open. The 618 is at the daily open. It's inside this Asia opening range, all right? So this might be a fantastic place. And now that you do have the Asia opening range here, you can use that as confluence, all right? This starts to become a decent looking level here. All right, now, again, you got to watch for reaction. We're not just getting in there all blind like. So yeah, that's really the way I sort of use them. And I know that I'm not doing it justice here because if I'm playing it off of the open themselves, all right, you can generally look for a quick pullback into it and then a go, especially off New York, not necessarily off London and Asia, but they do it sometimes as well. So we'll take a peek at New York and we'll look at yesterday's New York actually. But it's very common that they do an under, then an over, and then they'll come back and test and then go. All right. So in this case, big over, comes back, tests it up again, and then comes back down. And then we'll take a peek at New York's opening range from yesterday. All right, so I didn't mention this yesterday because I really don't want to tell people to trade while we're watching this, right? I'll give you some ideas for you to look at, but I'm not going to be sitting here telling people what to do. It's pretty dangerous because then I'm not going to be there helping you manage it, right? But this is one of my favorite things ever is when you get so this is the first minute of your New York opening, right? Price pushes up and then you get your first pullback candle, right? So your first pivot candle, and that is how I formed the range. And then when price comes back into it, you can definitely pull fibs, you can do all kinds of stuff, but one of the best things that I love to see is a fair value gap left here. I'm not sure if Marius is in here, but he's heard me talk about this a lot of times. Fair value gap, price comes back to it, and it goes, all right? Now, this is a pretty good trade, but there is some risk to it, all right? So be very careful with this. Watch it, check it out. Watch it for a couple of weeks. See if you can gain some confidence with it, and then look to use it. So that's one of the ways that I really like to use these opening ranges, and that's what I really look for in the London session all the time. All right, especially on the NASDAQ. I look for a move with a fair value gap left off of the open, and then look for fib levels inside that fair value gap for a more precise hit. Right, and you can see that once, even when price hits into this, moves back away, and then it just comes back and it tests that opening range low. And then even today, when you see the Asia session, pushes above it, comes back, tests it, gets above it, tests it again, keeps going. So it'll help you out over the next little while if price action doesn't really move too far away from you, all right? So what do we got here? There's Mr. Marius 4K. Marius 4000. All right, so I'm just going to start marking this out. I don't think that this is over yet, but here's our pre-market range so far kicking in. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, look at this bad boy. The Nancy Pelosi stock. That was a great day. Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so let's take well, let's see if this works actually, all right? I'm pushing my boundaries on the OBS streaming. Let's check this out. If you guys stop hearing me in a second, just write in the chat, no sound. Here we go, looking at exo charts. All right, so I hope my sound is still going. So here is our TPO chart for the day. We've got a row of single prints sitting here right now. So that is 104,287 to 104,487. So we've got $200 worth of single prints here. All right, it's a row of 9. So that's somewhat substantial. If we want to look at this on our trading view, you just, again, pop on that half-hour chart, or you can open TPO charts in trading view. But pretty easy to find this big half-hour fair value gap here. So that is a pretty interesting level for us to be aware of. All right, let's see if that might work as some form of support for us here. Okay, having said that, there's still really, I'm just looking down closer into the big zone down here. All right. somewhere around there. I would still really love to see, no, it's not down here anymore. It's a little bit higher now, this zone that I'm looking at. But really would love to see price work its way down to around 97 or so for a potential add to my swing long. Get back down to the lower time frame here. Okay, so in terms of the today's price action, that is a big level we're looking at there at single prints. All right, let's swing back over to the exo now, and we'll check out our trusty CVD. All right, so we are starting to build some bearish divergences here, right? We've started building them on the 30-minute chart. So you know, could be going down. On the other hand, we did have divergences here, but you could see that CVD was moving up and price was putting in lower highs. So kind of normalizing itself, but at the same time, we are now from sort of this high up here, starting to put in those divs to the downside. So will be interesting, definitely interesting. All right, let's get back to trading view here. Full-time killer, what is your macro view on BTC? I heard some said it is already at its macro top at around 105 to 108. Would love to hear your view on this. Pensive emoji. All right, so this is what I'll say. Let me just make sure here. Yep, okay. Looking good. So as far as the macro goes, like I'm, you know, you've got a couple of levels in mind that, that you keep, right? Mainly sort of fib extensions and fib expansions, negative fib pulls, that sort of stuff. But really what I'll be looking for here, let me close, just hide a bunch of this stuff here. You know, I would just look at the daily chart. That for me is the big one, the weekly as well, whatever the higher time frame you want, whatever you want to use. Stop that. Okay, so on the daily chart, you know, there's a couple of really strange sort of things here, all right? And one, I would look first of all at the huge discrepancy in volume that has happened over this move up to previous. All right, if you see here, price had already moved quite a bit, and then once it really started taking off in October, that huge volume spike kicks in, and you know, this is bull run volume, and we haven't had that yet. So that's a little bit weird. Right now, there's something that is an obvious truth that nobody's really going to be able to say or figure out until it is actually totally confirmed, which is, how is volume going to be affected now that you've got these major institutions coming in and grabbing all kinds of coin, right? So, you know, if you think of BlackRock and Vanguard and these guys all buying a bunch of Bitcoin, they're going to be taking liquidity out of the market, so volume might not be as easily available, and this might be sort of the new norm, right? But it really does look quite suspicious that no big volume has come in, right? So a lot of people have heard me talk about this in the Discord, is that when you're really looking for tops, you know, one of the best ways to see a top is to look at the retail aspect of it, and you're looking for what they call max stupidity. So when you're reaching like 69,000 and people are telling their grandmothers to buy and everybody's talking about Bitcoin, you know, and blah, 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 and price turns around, right? So we haven't really reached that, I don't think, you know, because you're not really hearing the hype about Bitcoin like we heard it in the last cycle. Now it might be different now, right? That just might be the way it is. Okay, if we look at momentum, it starts telling us a bit of a different story. So on our move up, you know, we're putting in these pretty massive bearish divergences. Price comes down, comes back up, and then it kind of starts to repeat the cycle again. You get a huge div there. I mean, absolutely massive. So if we look at what's happening now, from this peak to this peak, we've got a big div. All right, and we've already started putting in these massive divs here, but still we're in a range. All right, so historically Bitcoin doesn't really reverse off of ranges. If we look here, you could call this a, you know, uptrend, then you have this consolidation, and then you expand again, and then you break down. All right, so it is possible, but I just don't see it. I don't see it yet. All right, so I'm not going to be overly concerned about catching the absolute top on this. What I will be doing, you know, and I never am, that's just not the way I trade, but what I will be looking for is market structure confirmation. I'll be looking for that on lower time frames to begin with, and then the higher. The theory of macro top is exactly based on the observation of Coinbase reached top 10 in App Store and how to buy crypto hit all the time high in Google search. Yeah, and that's pretty much max stupid, right? So, but I don't know. I just don't see the volume for it yet. But it could be different, right? It really could be different this year. But I don't see it. I think we still got a little ways to go here. You know, I really like the 120, 125-ish zone for a turnaround just based on fib projections, but really, who knows, man. Now, what I will say is I'm shorting every opportunity I get with USDT, right? So my Bitcoin is in longs, and then yeah, the volume is pretty interesting. Keep an eye on it. But you know, again, it's just interesting because you really never know now that we have all these massive players in the space. You know, this is going to start trading more like a normal asset. The more and more that these massive banks and hedge funds and all these guys get interested in this, it's going to just start trading more like an index sort of thing, right? So it's going to be slow and steady up. Let's see, even this bull run might be completely different, right, in terms of volume, which would mean the bear market would also be completely different. So it's pretty interesting to see how this is going to play out, right? Because in the old days, it was just a bunch of nerds sitting on their computers with a ton of money having fun, right? And now it's serious. So it'll be interesting to see how this does play out, and then I'm very interested to see is how the bear market plays out. You know, I'm not sure we're going to get that massive like 70% correction sort of thing. Don't know if that'll happen. It'll be fun to see. Yeah. So I'm just, you know, hedging, constantly looking to hedge now. Every time I get a good short opportunity, I'm shorting on USDT. And that way, once market structure does confirm a shift, then I will already be positioned with USDT hedging all of my gains that I'm losing on my Bitcoin, and then I'll get rid of my stash, and that'll be that. Yeah. But it is kind of an interesting thing now where everybody starts talking about where the all-time high is. You're going to get all these guys talking about where it is. And, you know, in my experience, I've never really seen anybody call it that well, especially in the influencer space. Yeah, my view is it will become like a gold ETF eventually. No more crazy moves. Yeah, that's you know, eventually what's going to happen to it. If it is going to get mass adoption, there won't be crazy moves because investors don't want to see their money 70% gone, you know, and then you just have to say, well, we'll just wait 4 years, it'll be back. You know, that's not really how they like to make money, or lose it in that case. Okay, here we go. We've got the New York Open in effect. And there comes the volume again. Nice. Jeez, where am I? Losing my mind over here. All right, so New York opens on a dump. What's going on, Jokerin? Okay, so far inside that opening range. NASDAQ also on the dump. Yeah, move it on down. All right, so let's wait for our first pivot here. Wow. All right, so volume's all right, but still, I don't like it when you know you've got way bigger volume on the pre-market, man. It's kind of bizarre. It's a pretty big opening range. There comes the volume now. And that volume really spiked up here on that push back up. Looks like New York is magnetized by the single prints. Okay, so looks like we are setting up. Oh, maybe not. So we've got relatively the same thing as yesterday here with all these fair value gaps here, right? New York opening range is in. We're trading below the pre-market low. Now we're above it. So now if we just look at these fair value gaps here, we've got a 0.5 here, right below the London opening range. We've got the golden pocket inside of it. So either one of these levels could be an interesting place for a quick trade here. Now, this is a very dangerous time to trade. So again, I wouldn't be doing it, but it's exactly the setup they gave yesterday. Just that yesterday it moved away from it. And when it came back, it was already after 3 o'clock. So much safer. It happening right now during this washing machine period, a little bit dangerous. All right, guys, I'm supposed to say hit the like button and join the Discord description. Link in the description, sorry. Or you can see it that Zulon put it up there in the chat. Let's see if we can get a move either into these single prints here or into the selling tail up here. I'm going to change that. There you go. Tail. Lassa says washing machine period question mark. Yeah, it's the first half hour of the New York Open really is the volatility comes in quite heavily, and a lot of times they'll just start kind of washing guys out. So they call it the washing machine or the spin cycle or but what I would really love to see today is a pretty boring Friday and put in that inside bar. And then Monday should get a decent move. That would be my favorite scenario for today. And if this doesn't start moving relatively quickly, I'm pretty much going to give up on trading for today. I haven't taken a trade yet today, so no trading for me today so far. Haven't really seen anything that tickled my fancy. Take a quick peek here. I mean, that's a great level, but again, I don't want to trade the New York Open on this. Right, thanks for enlightening me with the nice expressions. Yeah, no worries, Lassa, my man. Anytime, buddy. Yeah, you'll hear it called by different names, right? The Brinks session. Yeah, the spin cycle, the washing machine. But it really is just that half hour of New York Open. There it goes. See, so that's the danger there, right? Is that first half hour is just brutal. So there you go. Now we've done the under over on the opening range. Sorry, the pre-market range, and now we're trading above Asia once again. So let's see if New York is going to come up and take these London highs, and we can look for a potential sweep here in a stop hunt, but it could also be looking to rip. The volume is now in. Look at that. So now the volume's really coming in here. Right, biggest volume candle of the New York session so far. You can see this London candle here, pretty crazy. 1 minute candle, and it went nowhere. So that's pretty wild there. Big stopping volume candle. All right, so let's get rid of this. Start thinking about what's going on here. So it would have been nicer to see this left as a fair value gap, but they're going to come down and close it up. All right, so let's hit this 5 minute chart and start looking at some EMAs here. Full-time killer asks, what does it suggest if the volume is huge but price doesn't move much? It means that they're not letting the price go. All right, so hold on, let me open that back up again, get volume back up. So it doesn't mean that much if you're not in a zone of interest. All right, but so for example here, right, you're coming down, price hits into the 20 EMA here pretty much, and you have a huge volume spike. All right, so it really just means that they're trying to hold price somewhere, but there's not much here, right? You've tapped into a fair value gap here, and price stops. So if you were going to see this at a zone of interest, let's see here. It's not really making any sense. Okay, so something like this. Right, so price comes down, hits into the London opening range, and you have a real big spike up in volume here. And the candle doesn't really go anywhere, doesn't accomplish anything. And then price turns around and does a bullish engulfing. All right, that is a very good sign. All right. So the stopping volume candle really just means that they don't want price to move beyond a certain level. Now, it can be a bit tricky to read that because sometimes price will eventually go in that direction. Whoa, here it comes. Look at that. Price will eventually go in that direction. However, they're just getting more volume into a place, right? They're getting their positions ready there. So when I say they, I mean the market makers and liquidity providers and the big boys. So it can be a bit hard to read, but just watch it. When you see these huge volume spikes and candles, like either put in a doji or a small candle, right? You don't want to see a big candle. It's got to be a small candle. It means that they're holding price there for a reason. So it can either signify that there's going to be a reversal, or that they're just filling their positions around that zone, and that's where they want to keep price for now before then continuation. All right, well, at least we left this nice fair value gap here, so that's always a good sign. So if we do go up now, and let's say we sweep this high, and then price turns back around, yeah, it looks like we're taking that high for sure. This is going to be a relatively decent zone to be looking at right here. The other beautiful thing is that you've actually got a fair value gap on the other side. So it adds confluence here. Imbalance, imbalance. Come on down, clean that up, and then go. All right, we've taken it. And now we're taking it with authority. Oh, still going. That is a very ugly 1 minute order block there. Let's take a quick peek here at the 15-minute. Pretty ugly. All right, see what happens. Going for that selling? Hell, baby. You're very welcome, full-time killer. Anytime, I'm in. So let's see. I'm just gonna take a quick peek here. Yeah. New York just smashing people's dreams. Mr. Sos, what's going on, buddy? I hope you're doing well. Big thumbs up to you as well. Come on, Biddy. You can do it. All right, let's take a quick peek here at the old Exos. Join the Discord group. There's the link in the chat, also in the description. What do we got here? 33 mil with only 5.4, huh? Nothing scary yet. No real trap longs up there yet. Let's see if we get any. Here comes the pullback. That is a potentially massive fair value gap we're leaving below us. We got a bit of time here. Yeah, not much trapped up there. So if they're looking to cause max pain, this is not the place to do it. Yeah, it's a very evenly spread out sort of a candle there. Back to the trading view. On the 1 minute. You're from Norway? I am not from Norway, but we have a Norwegian group. So if you join our Discord, we have an actual Norwegian section where there's a bunch of Norwegians. Actually, the moderator here, Zulon, is a Norwegian. He's a bit short for a Norwegian guy. He doesn't really seem like, but we have a really big Norwegian guy. He's actually insanely tall. But yeah, no, I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we have. So I speak Portuguese and English and a little bit of other things, and then we've got a lot of Norwegians in our group. Actually, I would say the majority of our group is Norwegian, or maybe like half of our group is Norwegian, probably. So yeah, join the Discord. There's tons of Norwegians there. We actually have a section dedicated for Norwegian, so you can get in there and chat away at will. We do lives. What's your thoughts on altcoin season? Oh man, that's a big question right now, which is pretty funny because a lot of people are starting to ask, what is altcoin season? I think alts are kind of like turning a bit of a corner here where you've really got to have a good project to sort of meme coins, honestly. Like I've been trading the Trump coin like a maniac the last few days, and it's fun as hell, I have to say. And it's a pretty decent trading coin. Would I buy it? Hell no. But I do like trading it. It's quite fun. So I honestly think everything's a little bit different right now. Like nothing is moving the way it used to. So yeah, it's the whole altcoin situation's a bit different. My top 5 altcoins. So I'm a bit of an old school guy. I'm a bit of a purist. So we'll just go over them real quick here. I'll tell you what I like to trade, and then I'll also tell you what I hold, but I don't hold that much. Little Time Killer says altcoin season is diluted due to too many projects and memes. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's kind of like pick your projects that you know, I think the more that this gets diluted, and then the more that real money starts coming into it, you have to start thinking about these things like you would stocks, all right, or companies. Can't hear you. Something is wrong with your mic, I believe. Really? Hold on a second. You should be able to hear me. Can everybody hear me, or is William Tran having problems? Because my mic looks like it's working. My sound looks good. Let me ask in the chat here. Sounds working fine. Okay, good. Excellent, thank you. Yeah, I'll go back to the top 5 alts. I haven't even done them yet, don't worry. So what I would say is that you really kind of want to trade it. This could be a good short coming up here on the bit. Time is it really? Maybe watch to come into this fair value gap action with the London opening range and maybe bounce back up into the previous day's selling tail and then back down. Yep, that's what I'm going to wait for. Anyhow, my voice is breaking. That's kind of weird. What is going on here? No, my internet looks fine. Excellent connection on my stream. Make sure my mic not here. The voice is nice here. All right. So I'm guessing it's you guys that don't have good internet connection. Some of this, yeah, mine looks good, but so I think what you want to do is kind of make sure that you believe in the project. So it's kind of like buying a company. You know, if you're buying stock in a company, you want to kind of be an owner of that company, like Buffett says, right? That's the big Warren Buffett thing. If you're going to buy stock, yeah, it should be because you want to own a company. So you believe in the company, you like the company's products, you know, all of that stuff. Said that, I definitely have ADA, which is something that I'm not proud of anymore. But I love to trade ADA. It's a very fun coin to trade. So that's why I have some. So ADA is one of them. Pendle, Render. I think Render is going to do pretty well. Sol, definitely Sol. Love Sol. Love it. And then you have like the fun stuff like XRP. You know, like, do I believe in XRP? No, but is it a great coin to trade? Yeah, it is. XRP is like an old school favorite, which really moves quite a bit, and everybody kind of loves getting into it. And that's about it. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. Yeah, I think Sol is here, we'll take a peek at it here. So Sol, it was definitely one of those strange performers, right? This is what I was looking at, was this descending channel here. And you know, it was kind of sketchy. I was like, how far is this going to go? And then it broke out finally and started going. Ajax, yeah, that one's up there too. My top alts would be near Render. Yeah, I like Render quite a bit. But you have to remember, I'm a trader, right? So I'm not really like I'm not a maxi. I don't really think I shouldn't say I don't think. I don't spend too much time on crypto forums, and even when new projects come out, I just like to know if it's a meme coin or not. But at the same time, I like trading, right? So that's really what I go for, right? I'm not a hodler. When price starts turning around, I'll even get rid of all my Bitcoin. I'll get rid of everything, right? So that's not really my game. I like to trade. I'm a trader. All right. So I don't really see long-term investment in crypto. And for that matter, I don't really get into it that much. So if you join our Discord, there's you know, Crypto Viking knows more about this stuff than I do. Also, Mongo is always researching this stuff. Andy as well, I believe, is more knowledgeable on the crypto space than I am. I just stare at charts all day and trade them. All right. It's kind of like the Trump coin, right? Trump coin was released. As soon as I saw it on Bybit, it didn't even come out. It wasn't even available on TradingView for Bybit. So I was looking at MEXC charts and trying to trade it on Bybit. And then the day after, it finally came out on TradingView, and I traded it for days straight, and it was very fun trading. Very fun. Took a few losses, but mainly winners, and it's fantastic. So yeah, I don't really get too into kind of like that, the whole conversation about which cryptos, especially alts, like which alts do I think are going to go. I just have my faves, and that's really it. I look to swing trade Bitcoin. I look to scalp and day trade alts, but my favorite thing to do in the world is day trade the NASDAQ futures. And this is what I really love to do. And then invest in stocks. Once in a while some bonds, but for the most part it's stocks. And that's it. So here we go. We've got our Asia high now taken by New York. New York coming back into the zone. And now let's check out our universal entry criteria. So far away that it's not even a good idea. Discord join. Nice, William Tran. Good to have you, buddy. Good to have you. Oh, wow. That's a bit on the tough side here. Let's see what's going on in the 1 minute. That could have been a potentially decent scalp right there. Goes back in under the Asia. Pretty bloody dangerous though. Thanks for the info, bro. I'm going now. Tuning in later. No worries, William Tran. Good to speak to new people all the time. And welcome to the Discord. Pushing 3 o'clock. So the spin cycle is pretty much coming to an end here. Let's see if the Bitcoin does rip up, come onto that tail. That's really a shame. I thought for sure we were going to see the single print or this tail here by the time 3 o'clock came, but oh well. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right, anybody got any questions besides what do I think about altcoin season? I remember that you told us that you were watching the PepsiCo stock. Have you found any signs of reversal? Yep. So we can go over Pepsi. Yep. Yeah. So Pepsi's also got earnings coming out pretty soon. All right. So we've got this rounded bottom. All right. It's looking pretty decent, but we're running into the 20 EMA first and foremost. And then we've got earnings coming out in February. All right. So February 4th. So what I want to see now is, like, this was a decent day trade here, comes in, fills in this gap, but the reversal is sort of potentially beginning, right? So what I want to see is now a pullback potentially into this order block here, or maybe a double bottom. All right, but I definitely want to see a pullback, and then I might get in on a pullback. That'll be an aggressive entry. And then once you see that high, higher low, higher high, you know, that's going to be the confirmation on the daily chart. Okay, the other thing is this this move to the downside here, incredibly aggressive. All right, and we're just over it. All right, so when I see this, not that I trade, you know, I'm not, I don't use Al Brooks as like as my main source of trading. However, when we do break out of channels, I'm very suspicious of them, and I look for price to come back down and put in a new extreme, right? That's the price action rule of channels. The first breakout's a fake out, and then you put in a new extreme. Now, a new extreme here doesn't mean it has to take out this low. It could just come down and now meet this order block because it'll take out this low before the breaking out of the channel, right? So it has to put in a new extreme to the downside, and then I'll be looking to turn it around. I remember that you told us that you were watching the PepsiCo reversal going up again from the dip on the weekly. Thoughts on Mongo's prediction that Bitcoin will hit 263K in Q4? Hey man, that's Mongo. You know, I don't really have any thoughts on that. Like, it's possible, right? Do I think it's probable that we pretty much like 3x, you know, in the next 8 months, 9 months? Yeah, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't see it happening, but I will tell you this, my long would love it. So 142, 144 is a very interesting area on Pepsi area stock. Yeah, I would definitely say so. This whole zone here with this little order block, all right, kicked up this gap. Gap has been filled. So now you've got this order block here. And then here, this 146 area is also getting a bit interesting now because of this low, right? So if price is to come down and sweep this, all right, it's kind of setting up for a bit of a John Wick here. All right, price can come down and sweep it, and that'll be a new extreme from the breakout. And then if it turns back around off it, it'll go. So what I would suggest is mark out sort of the daily action on the 15-minute chart. All right, just mark out your day boxes and look to trade off the previous day's closes. All right, so if price does just break out of here, then wait for a pullback. All right, and thinking the exact same way, right? But if it does come back down and start searching for that new extreme, which would be taking out this low here, all right, and then potentially popping into that daily order block down there, or maybe even this guy on the 15-minute chart, right? So very interesting price action all around here. That's what I'd be looking for. But I do believe that, yeah, Pepsi is going to be turning around. It's just come down so far, right? And it really, I mean, it's Pepsi's just so huge that it's kind of weird when you see, geez, stop that. You know, you're talking about one of the world's biggest food producers that's down a good 25%, was even more. So I think that Pepsi's one of the only stocks that really looks kind of cheap to me right now, unless they're stocks that Nancy Pelosi trades. But yeah, that's what I would say, Lassa. Like this, it's already looking pretty interesting, right? If we look back here, it's kind of weird that you've got this gap here as well. Just gonna mark this out real quick. Got hit into. All right, we've got a fair value gap there. So This is going to be a bit of a sticky zone here. It should have gotten a bit more of a response off of that, I think, but didn't really react too much to it. Just some doji candles. So indecision into really decent resistance. Still difficult to know where the bottom is. Thank you. Dinner time here. Have a nice weekend, all of you. Yeah, no worries, Lassa. Happy dinner, bro. And we'll talk about it on Sunday's VIP stream. We'll get into it. Talk more about the Pepsi stock. All right, let's take a quick peek back then at the bit. She going for it? No. Now you're gonna stall out for a bit and just bore everybody before the move comes. All right. And NASDAQ, there you go. Back to retest that daily open. Yeah, that's a great trade at 306. Beautiful. Would have been a quick 10 points. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 3:06. That means we've been at this for over an hour. I'm going to go enjoy some caffeine, see if I can catch. Oh, I played with a paper trade on silver today, and it's acting out good, short from 3088-ish. Could you do a quick look at your TA of it? Yeah. Yeah, we could do a quick look at silver. Then I'm out. All right, so you say you got in around 3088. That's a great trade, my friend. Great trade. Get rid of this. Bit of a counter trend trade, but not bad. Think of like gold and silver. One of the problems with the silver is that they've got to kind of keep price low, right? Because it's used in so much industry. 1, 2, 3. W. Yeah, because I could see this actually moving higher from just a quick glance here. Oh, and there's the Viking Gen Norwegian, who has no problem with sound or connection, driving through Bangkok traffic. All right. Okay. So that seems to be the answer right there, Marius. That would be your answer right there. So this little range here, I'd expect something to get breached, either the low or the high here, and then maybe pull back and put more range in. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at right now. Would pretty much be that coming in off a little. Hey. enjoy your coffee break. As always, thanks for the share. Yeah, no worries, full time killer. Anytime, man. Maria says, yeah, I think it's breaking out, but it didn't. So I thought it would visit the channel lows again. Channel, yeah. Yeah, like Jan 20th, maybe. Anytimes, JD, man. Thank you, brother. Talk in the Discord if you're around. Yeah. Yeah, like I don't really see it going too low here. I think it should go to the upside here. I mean, got a nice W formation here. You've only really put in level 1, maybe not level 2, but it doesn't look that good. Looks like all kind of level 1-ish stuff, really. So yeah, take profit on that short, my man, and enjoy it. Yeah, everything kind of just seems to be challenging these highs, and you've got some downward pressure on it, but it just keeps going through it. Did we hit into that yet? No. So look at this big, massive daily candle here. 1 to 3 RR hit, so it's kind of done. All right, nice. Yeah, that's a great trade, brother. Great trade. But yeah, we'll take a peek in this. I'll do a little more deep into this, and then I'll post something in the Unitrader channel on the Discord group. All right. So yeah, you guys have yourselves a great weekend. Be safe. Watch out for Bitcoin. See if it does print an inside bar day. If it does finish relatively flat, then Monday should be pretty exciting. Yeah, we will see you in the Discord and Sunday's VIP live lounge stream, guys. You're very welcome, my man. Take care, everybody. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Okay,